Hey everybody! Thank you so much for dropping by today, tonight, wherever it may be. I really appreciate it. We're gonna be playing My Mother's Kitchen tonight. I'm Fleet, the designer of My Mother's Kitchen. This has been a labor of love for a very long time. I actually just got some major notes from Amber's live playtest the other day, and in 2 days this game has completely changed. Not completely, but there's been some key factors that have come into play. So today I kind of want to show you guys exactly what this game is. Oh, Cassie, thank you so much. That's really nice. I'm so happy. Yeah, I am wearing a little apron. I thought it was very appropriate. It matches my sweater. I wanted to be thematically appropriate. I also did say it's BYOA, bring your own apron. So if you didn't, you know what? I don't have any spares. You're just gonna have to cook balls swinging. You know. I'm nervous. I've never played a game live that is my own before, except for like when I did Vanity Bleeder for Merkforged, and that was before I had even published it. Fabian! Yes! Everyone go get your aprons for this! Either way, what you are about to watch tonight with me is My Mother's Kitchen, a solo journaling game where cooking sets you free. It is a brand new system that I made for this game, a tarot card and 1d10 system where you not only do creative prompts in the style of I can't say it. I knew. I practiced. I knew this was gonna happen. Oh, I boned it. The am game. Steph is going to come to my house and slap me. Oh, do I have it just readily available to show you all? The anamnesis. Thank you. Oh my god, the amount of time I spent practicing that. Anamnesis. Thank you. That was like my warm-up before I turned this on. That's why it took so long to get in here. I was like, I can say this. But it's inspired by anamnesis and Skyworthy, a 1,000-year-old vampire, as well as the mechanics of a new game, Oh Captain, by my friend Leon Barilio. They worked really hard on making a game that's not only prompt-based, but also it requires some tactical thinking. So I'm kind of calling this a marriage between creative writing and the video game Inscription. Only in mechanics, not really in tone. You didn't find anything. It's not scary unless it's the fear's in your heart, you know? But get a cup of tea because we're going to dive in. The cover is by my incredible friend, Fabian Lillet. Fabian is in the chat tonight as Bad House RPG. You should totally follow that because a lot of my friends and myself are going to be on that channel later. You should also, if you are so inclined, since this is ahead of time, sign up early to be alerted when this game goes live. I'm actually crowdfunding for physical copies, and I have a special little deal going on. I've decided that if you... Oh, oh my god, did you subscribe? Amber, thank you, that's so nice! Oh my god, there are a lot of followers tonight. Thank you all. My partner Steven, who has now given me money. Thank you for subscribing. Kev, thank you for the follow. Essie, thank you for the follow. Danny, thank you for the follow. And Amber, thank you for giving me money. Yay! I'm swimming in it, baby! Thank you all so much for your support tonight. It means the world to me. Please follow. I don't know how to do any of the fancy bots yet. That's something I have yet to learn. I'm a new affiliate. But I am just very excited to be able to share with you what I've been working very, very hard on. I actually sent out my press kit today, and I heard back from a place. A retailer wants to help me with fulfillment as well as sell the game and keep it in stock in their shop if I actually fulfill. So this is really big for me as a first-time publisher of a physical zine. It was a unique opportunity, and I really want this to work out, not only for me, but because of what this game means to me. To give you some overview of My Mother's Kitchen, this is a game I wrote to cope with my grandmother passing. Oh, Cassie, that fucking press kit took it out of me. My God. I had to, like, pump that out. But it includes, like, the origin story of this game, where my grandmother was passing away and I was in New York. She passed away the week of my birthday. So I was in New York. I didn't really want to go home, but I didn't want to stay here. I didn't want to face anything, so I cooked a lot. And she passed, and I kept cooking, and I started to think, I started to feel her presence more in the kitchen, either out of grief or maybe something more, I don't know. But I cooked, and I made tons of things she loved to eat. It was hard because later in life she couldn't eat as much, when you get old, the taste fibers, they evaporate. But I always felt like she was there watching me, and when I originally first designed my mother's kitchen, it was sort of, you played as the generations themselves being affected by this ghost, and looking back, it was very much my grieving way of handling my grandmother's death to try and cope with it. But as time went on and people played and I got playtest feedback, I realized that my loneliness and my grief was the driving force of the gameplay mechanic, and I was forced to kind of confront, what am I trying to evoke, right, with setting something in a kitchen? What's the actual feeling I need to be replicating through not just the copy and the text and my intention, but the actual mechanics of the game? And that's how I kind of switched lenses from this very self-serving four generations approach to it, to you play as a ghost trapped in your family's cookbook, observing time go by, and you don't remember anything. And the more people cook from your book, the more that they remember, until you can finally be free. So for me, this game is very important. I think it has healed me a lot, and if nothing else happens to this game, but it's healed me and made me feel closer to my family and my grandmother and my family's history, then I did my job, to be honest. I know that Wolfgang Bauer, I always fucking say this, has a great quote where he's like, good game design is something that appeals to you, but that's independent and niche. Great game design can appeal to many people. So I've had to rethink how I approach my games and who they're for and what's fun to play for people. So tonight you're going to see the culmination of a lot of thinking, a lot of therapy, and a lot of pain and joy and moving on in a way I didn't expect to have to ever. This is really my first big family death. And even now, I'm tearing up. I still think about it. And in her honor tonight, her name is Stephanie Kronzler, with an F because she's German AF. We're having her favorite tea, which is chamomile. The actual flowers, because she's bougie as fuck. So we're doing that. Yeah, love, love, love. But the thing is, and I'm going to talk as I do this, writing this game, as people had play tested it, they started talking about their families and their stories, and it reminded me of, Stephanie and Bonnie, the queens. Hi, Kat, go to bed. You can watch the VOD tomorrow. I'm gonna make you all watch the VOD. Bye, Kat. Good night. Thank you for stopping by. It's UK. God damn. Kat, go to bed, please. I agree with Cassie. Go to bed, friend. But Joseph Campbell had a saying, or not saying, but had a theory of there's only ever 7 human stories. There's only ever 7 stories we tell, and this game resonated with a lot of people in a lot of different ways because cooking is universal. It's a way we show love. It's a way we show harm. Yeah, I mean, food sovereignty is a huge thing that has to be navigated for a lot of people who have been wiped out by genocide, right? It's a huge factor in it. So this game, I think, has a lot of layers to it depending on who plays it, and I wanted to free that up as much as possible. Again, hello everyone who has joined us tonight. If you want to follow the crowdfunder and my progress, you can follow the crowdfunder at this link. Be ready when it goes live. It's $15 for a physical copy, and right now that's like 40 pages. So it's worth the money. No one can say it's not worth the money. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of text. Yeah. So, okay. Let's get started with the book. I am going to first tell you a quote my grandmother, we were going through her house, and the quote is in the book. It's part of the dedication. The quote is, so my uncle, my family's Jewish. My uncle got very Jewish, ultra-Orthodox, which for those who don't know is like the going clear of Judaism. I'm sure there's going to be ultra-Orthodox people who are going to be like, no, it's not. But in my experience, in how I am treated, my family was treated, yeah, boy. But she worked really hard to make him feel understood because it was important to him. And we found, as we were going through her house to clean it out, this beautiful quote she wrote on a Torah story. And so I decided to include it. So I think we'll start tonight's tarot card game, tonight's ritual, with that quote. Life can only be understood backward, but must be lived forward. This game is for you, Grandma. So let's get cooking. Close your eyes and remember. The song your mother sang when she made her chicken matzo ball soup when you got sick. The smell of your grandma's fried catfish wafting through the crowded halls of her house. The look of your dad's lumpy chocolate fudge, but that somehow tasted better than anything else. Recipes are part of family traditions, but how far back do they really go? You, me, are the original recipe writer. That's all you know for sure. Your spirit lives in the family cookbook, passed down from generation to generation. You act as a guide, a witness, and a source of comfort to anyone who opens your pages. And with every recipe they make, you remember. Who will finally achieve your long-promised wish, one you've forgotten but recall with each passing generation, and set you free. That is the opening flavor text to My Mother's Kitchen. I like it a lot. It is... expect to cry. So far, I've had 3 people say they've cried while playing this game. So be emotionally and physically ready to cry. It's cathartic as it is creepy. Thank you for the follow, Cassette Blue. I super appreciate it. Welcome to the saddest party in the fucking world. So what is My Mother's Kitchen? It's a solo journaling game about traditions, change, and cooking, where you play as the author of the original family recipes, robbed of memory and trapped on Earth as the spirit of your own cookbook. You act as guardian for your family, and you try to remember why you are bound to the book in your first place as you guide your inheritors through centuries and generations. Every time someone makes a recipe from your book, you will draw tarot cards and roll a die to remember who you are and why you're trapped. And maybe, just maybe, a generation will achieve what you dreamed of so you can finally rest. I think a lot of us are familiar with solo journaling games, but I could just really quick dive in. A solo journaling game is one where you play by yourself. It's just using cards, dice, and prompts, and determine where the game and story go using those tools. You use a word processor to answer the prompts and track your progress through the game until the end. So this game is going to be this is a journaling game, but I'm going to be doing this out loud with some twists. So here is what, check Discord. Check a Discord. Oh, thank you. My Gmail's open with my email address. Thank you, Amber. Everyone email me. Oh, this fucking Microsoft Edge. Oh, it's because I opened the wrong Edge. Damn. What is this? Y'all, I don't even know what I have open. This is like an old window. I'll call it out, baby. Thank you for checking that. Please, no ban. Cassandra, please. Here, really quick. Thank you for the call out. Let me change this box for the window capture. I was like, oh, that's weird, because I have 2 things open. Huh. That's very odd, because there's only one of these open on here. There's nothing else open on this. Oh, this is the real ghost technology. Yeah, there's nothing on here, guys. Oh, I see what it is. They're like, hey, we're just gonna delete some of this stuff really fast. Did that do it? That did it. Guess what? It took my tabs and it took my like bookmarks and turned them into tabs. I hate Microsoft Edge. I don't have Adobe, so okay. Anyway, thank you for the shout, Amber. I'm not subtle. I need to read with my eyes and my mouth. Okay, so let me teach you how to Foxit PDF reader. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to try and get that after this. I'm such a piece of gumbo. All right. So, let me walk you through what you need to play this game. So, you need one tarot deck split into 2 decks. So, you need a major deck, which we will now be calling the Persona deck. So, that's going to be the star, that's going to be the world, and we're going to shuffle it. So, we're taking those face cards, and we're going to put them over here. And then we're going to split it into the minor arcana, which we're going to be calling the powers. So, the Persona deck is going to be who appears in your kitchen, and the minor arcana, power, is going to be what kind of effect you have on those people. So those are the 2 differences between these 2 decks. Please don't, I hope you're not watching me try and shuffle. I can't dance and I can't shuffle. I'm like a little Commander Shepherd over here. 2 fun facts. You will also need 1 10-sided die. That's all you need. It's just a 10-sided die. Bam, bam, bam. So this is one I got from Odd Duck Dice. It's their Dwarven Love Letter. I think it's gorgeous. It has a little platypus on the 10. I think it's really cute. So you need a 10-sided die. My favorite RPG, The Citadel. I wish. I think Commander Shepherd plays Pathfinder, you know? Hey, thank you for the follow, Dungeon Dora. That's real sweet of you. So you need the major and minor arcana split into 2 decks. The major arcana is the Persona deck, and the minor are your powers. You need a 10-sided die. Obscura! Hello! Every day we are shuffling. Except for me, you can't fucking shuffle. So, another thing you are going to need is the recipe book. Now, the recipe book, quote-unquote, are going to be pages. Either you can print out digitally, or are going to be in the physical copy that you can get when you donate to my crowdfunder campaign. Oh, did you see that? But I've actually ran to, it's not A5, so don't come for me, ZiMo. But I printed out a copy so I can show you in person how they worked. Because, thank you, flawless segue. So, as you can see, these are going to be your recipes. On the front, you are going to have things like the name, so bread. You have a modifier, so +3 to pentacles for bread. You have a theme, so the theme for bread is second chances. And you have a dish number. The dish number is 15. Each of them basically has a different thing, a different category. It also comes with a backside, so it's double-sided. You can take notes on the back of your recipe cards about the things that you remember. I also have left open blank recipe cards for you to design your own recipes to use in the game based on your own families, which I really wanted to do because my family's nice. I can't speak for every culture and nationality. I did my goddamn best, but I can't. So these are the recipe cards. These are the recipe books. And so this is the fun part. When you get the recipe books, you see how there's a dotted line? You are going to cut the book. That's right. You're going to cut your physical book. And if you are uncomfortable cutting your physical copy of my book, which, you know what? You're basically cutting through my soul and hard work, and I understand that. But when you are cutting through that, you can also use sticky notes. I think Amber also used sticky notes just really quick to be able to use them as you will, so you don't have to ruin your nice book. Your nice zine. I shouldn't say book. I could do it nice and fancy and perfect bad if I wanted to, but ZiMo would come for my children, my future children. You are also going to need a pen and paper or word processor, and then you're going to need a pair of scissors or sticky notes. So, this is what you need to play. You also, for me, I have some fun little colors because I love pens. So I'm going to be using some fun, cute little stuff. One for the shelf and one for the scissors. Get it here first, folks. These scissors are so dirty. Please don't look too closely. These are like the cut anything scissors. I wish I was fancy enough. I actually lost a pair of scissors behind the oven, and when you lose something behind the oven, it's gone forever. So my second pair of scissors is gone. We just have one scissor for everything, and they're broken. So that's what we're using today. And if this is what kills me, I'll go down happy. ASMR sip sip. It belongs to the oven now. Digital, yeah, so I'm gonna be having the downloadable separate, so you could just keep reprinting. If I went behind the oven, it's like the Goblin Garden, I wouldn't come back. I'd be gone. I'd be like the Red Shoes or a Dancing Princess. I'd be out. It's Merkborg back there. It's absolutely Merkborg behind my oven. Just a little Merkborg's world. And people are just screaming. There's a little garden snake that thinks it's a giant monster. It's fine. It's a great reference. If you get it, you get it. Great. Anyway, so here's how we play. So, step 1, we are going to build our book. So one of the great pieces of feedback I got from the Space Jammer, Sweet Amber, who's in the chat, is that when you are character creating, there's really not a character creation system. It really assumes a lot that you have an idea going in. So we are going to build a book together. So that's step 1. And I'm actually going to really quick scroll through this book. You didn't see anything. For appetizers, step 1, build your book. Yes, these, honestly, that'd be a great Mouse Ritter dungeon, to be honest. Am I number 1 in tabletop RPGs? Wait until 8 o'clock, Amber. That's wild. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm apparently number 1 for the first and only time in tabletop RPGs. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, so this is step 1, building your book. So we're gonna work together right now to build this book. So we're gonna answer the following prompts to build our haunted cookbook. And by the way, the art is by Haley Smith, who is at, oh boy, Haley's gonna come for me. Haley, please. I'm looking for Haley's Twitter. One Sleepy Beetle. One Sleepy Beetle on Twitter. All the interior art is made by her. She is astounding. And you'll see some tarot cards that she made as well throughout this that I need to do a little more finessing on and label, but it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. If I actually make more money than I assume, I'm actually trying to get more spot art from her for the book so it can be a little more varied, because if I draw a stick figure, the world cries in pain. So we're not going to do that. So we can answer the following prompts to build our haunted cookbook, or we can start on the second page, define your ghost, and we can start from the ghost and work our way backwards. So for me, what I'm going to do creatively is I've decided to start with creating my book, so I'm going to answer the following prompts. So, 1, what color is this cookbook? If we are starting from the haunted object itself, I think I am going to have it, it's not even a book. It is a leather-bound sort of wrap of loose leaf paper. That is the book. It is not bound. It is still in disarray. So I'm going to say it's loose leaf and brown. What does the cookbook feel like when you touch it? When I touch the book, the outside is soft and faded. It's almost satiny to the touch. I think it's real leather. I think it's old leather, probably from something. But here's the thing, it's very clear in the directive. This is all you can't create a memory from it. You can't create a memory from it. You got to stick to what's in front of you because the memory comes later. And when I touch the pages, yes, the 1901, exactly. When I touch the pages, they are also soft. You can actually feel the worn hair on the page if you brushed your hand over it. If you just swiped your hand over it very gently, you'd feel almost like the stray pieces of linen coming unbound from the paper itself, yellowed. The writing, what is the writing like inside the cookbook is the third prompt. The writing inside the cookbook is, even though it's a beautiful outside, it's still loose leaf. So I think the writing is harried. I think it's scrawl. I think it's rushed. And fading in and out, I think there's a lot of crossouts. And I think that you can, like, feel there's food splattered on the pages. Like, something old that got on there. Like, it's been used, you know? How does the cookbook smell when you hold it to your nose? The cookbook smells like parchment. Old parchment. It smells like wax. It smells just like a touch moldy, I think. I mean, there's old food in it that someone tried to, like, scrape off, so it's like a little stained. It doesn't have food still in it, or else there'd be ants and stuff. I think people took care of it a little bit. And I think it smells... Yeah, I think that's all I want. Does it have a sound when it opens? When the cookbook is opened, I think you hear the shuffling of paper. I think you hear a crinkle of old parchment. And I think you hear the creak of leather. Those are what I am using to... Oh, and at the front of the cookbook, because it's leather, someone has carved or, like, embossed an insignia. And it looks like very faded, so we don't know what the insignia is yet. But I want to put faded insignia. And that is going to be what the cookbook looks like. So that is the first set of character creations, the book. And now I'm going to move to defining my ghost. So I'm going to now answer the following prompts to bring my ghost to life. And I have to remember there is no memory beyond what's answered in these prompts. And if I'm stuck on a time period for my ghost, I actually have a table. Hi, Evie. I actually have a table I can roll for to try and determine when they're from. So I will be able to actually determine using it what era they're in. So the next thing is I am going to draw one card from the Persona deck to inspire me. And today I am using the Ethereal Visions Tarot deck. It's the only tarot deck I own. I would like to change that. The other tarot deck I own is on my wall framed because I felt too bad to use it. But it's by Matt Hughes. I think it's gorgeous. I think the use of, like, gold and silver is really nice. So now I'm going to draw one card from the deck to inspire me. It is the Fool upside down. So, the Fool upside down. And I have a little note in this, or I am going to be adding a little note, I guess, of you all have beautiful decks. Use what's already on the deck to inspire. Use the art. Because, I mean, that's free art, baby! So this is the art. It's the Fool. For those who don't know, it's a young man with a sheep, and he has an umbrella filled with stars. So, I mean, you could get something scary and bloody for this game if you really wanted. I think I'd like to see a brutal... It's the first card I drew from the tarot deck. Yeah, I mean, the Fool, baby, it's reminiscent. So, the Fool, I'm going to go down to my prompts. So I have a whole list of prompts. A lot of pages. So it's reversed. A teen taught to cook against their will. Who are they? What were you resistant to in your lifetime? So I think to be inspired by this card, I'm not as inspired by the prompts. That's not really a direction I want to go. So I'm going to choose instead the second option to be inspired by the art. So for me, what compels me about this is the kid's hands are thrown back in surrender as he wobbles atop a cliff. So we're going to use that kind of imagery to bring this forward. I'm also not going to play a teen dying because that's not what I want to do tonight. I don't think that's what anybody wants to do tonight. So I'm going to scroll back up. And I am going to use these prompts. What is your name? I think already I'm having a hard time. Names are the worst thing I can do. Let's just pick one. Her name, because I want to do her. I think her name is going to be... yeah, you should check out Knave of Cups. They're really cool. I like them a lot. Hands thrown back, stars. I think we are going to... Oh my god, why am I stuck on this? Hi, Kay, how are you? Welcome. You're just in time to watch me get absolutely roasted about not having a name picked out for a stream. I knew it was coming for hours. Incredible. Let me look around the room. Their name is Rebecca, because that's the name of the artist of the magic card I have by my desk. Their name is Rebecca. Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. Perfect. What are your pronouns? Were you able to use them while you were alive? I think her pronouns... I think Rebecca's pronouns are they, them. And I think no, they weren't. They went by she, her. Yeah, Amber, I told you this, changed quite a bit. I warned you. I made some huge changes. What time period or year were you alive in? I think Rebecca was alive. I like this sort of... you know what? I love the idea of, like... Fuck. Let's go back in time. Let's place this person. They're from the 1400s. No way. When were the Dark Ages? Hold on. What? Rebecca. When were the Dark Ages? Rebecca. Rebecca. I'm looking at the Dark Ages. I think they're from the Dark Ages. When was the Dark Ages? Fuck me. Okay. Oh, no, I can't stare on stream. You get demonetized. Dark Ages when? Oh, 1000 AD. Yeah, I think we're... I guess I'm gonna say 1300s for the hell of it, because that's like the Dark Ages I know from Call of Cthulhu. Whatever. Yeah, so my character's from the 1300s. Let's keep on it going. Where am I from? I'm going to say that I am from in the 1300s. I'm going to be from the East Frankish Kingdom, which is now Germany. I mean, like, listen. That's old as balls. They gotta be careful with this one. How old were you when you died? I think Rebecca was 52. I want someone older. What were 3 adjectives that described you? I want to say stoic, serious. Rebecca's judgmental. I feel like Rebecca doesn't have time for you, doesn't have time for your bullshit. Rebecca's running things, owning land, because it's the Dark Ages and women could own land. Yeah. Also, I want to point out, historical accuracy is not important in this. The original Becky. Damn old Becky. Yeah, historical accuracy is not important in this. And I like the idea of the reversed fool is what inspired this kind of character. So the opposite of that flying free, something tight and restrained. So that is going to finish us up for our ghost definition. Finally, it's time to assemble our cookbook. We are now going to cut out our recipes. So in your cookbook, you must pick 5 recipes up top to play with. You cannot determine them as you go. So for me, I'm gonna make a little heart on myself. I'm going to cut out bread, because I love bread. And I think Becky absolutely made a mean bread. Yeah, it's got like fancy E's and shit. And I think she like knew how to write. I mean, as a landowner, she should. So as you can see, I cut this out. This is approximate sizing. So this is going to be the first side, and then on the back you have your notes section, so you can literally write down. So we're just gonna take our 5 recipes and just assemble them. So I am going to have bread, of course. I am going to have fowl. I think that will be fun. That will be a fun one to mess around with. So we're gonna cut out fowl. So I have bread, I have fowl, I have 3 more. Chat, help me decide. So I have soup, noodle, rice, meat, curry, fish, cake, salad, sauce, and stock, and then I can do a random one. Want to do fish? Okay, we're gonna do a fish one. Okay, we're gonna do fish, curry, a dessert. Okay. We do not have a dessert. So actually, this might be a good chance. Yeah, let's... Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm excited by all of these. So, I will say I have a cake. I do have a cake. You're right. I have a cake. So, we could do cake. For cake is dessert. You are right. So, we can do a cake. So, I'm going to cut out cake. So, these are all very generally themed. So they go under general categories, and then you name them as you go to suit the time period or the nation that you are from. So we're gonna do cake. Honestly, Arnica, you try hard enough, it could be anything. I see curry and sauce and nudes. Chat battle. I see so many. I'm gonna go with sauce because I think that one's... Well, we have a 13, a 15, a 10, and a 13. So I'm gonna go with sauce because that's an easy one. I think y'all are absolutely rooting for me to kill my character, for my character to just waste away and die in this one. So yeah, we're gonna cut out some sauce, which is a dish number 5, because my God, please just let me live. So we're gonna take all the rest of these recipes, say goodbye. Goodbye, we're putting them in the back. Unless I have to do a new game plus and I die. So, we now have 5 recipes. Fantastic work. Now we are going to... We're just hungry. Amen, right? Okay, so now we are going to name, in the little section here, these dishes by ourselves, whatever we want to that relates to it. So, first of all, I need to look up what a German cake is from the 1300s. So give me one moment while I do a little Googling. Please and thank you. Okay. Go big. Honestly, I think someone wanted to do an actual play of this in a kitchen. I think it's specifically Essie does. So I definitely... What cakes do they have in medieval times? Ooh, a marzipan cake. Pudding tart. I think marzipan cake is going to be a... that's fancy. So I'm going to use blue for this. Oh my God. Amber, you worked at Cold Stone? How does it feel to be elite? Did people make you sing when they tipped? Was that something you had to do? So we're going to just call this marzipan. We're going to write this in blue because it's cute. So also, green's my favorite color, but they say that blue, if you write it, makes your teachers grade your papers better, which I'm sure was a lie. Ugh, gross. Okay, so sauce in a German 1300s sauce. Worcestershire sauce is what I see. English cooking. It uses milk and parsley. Blech. I'm gonna use Worcestershire. I know it's English, but it's East Francophone. I don't know. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. Beer and cheese sauce. You know what? Yeah, let's do a hop sauce. It's not actually hot, it's a hop sauce. So we're gonna do bread now. And so, I am Jewish. And if any of my characters aren't Jewish, poo on me. Except one who's in DuPont Underground, which is Amber's Vampire the Masquerade game, who is a Catholic. Which is on purpose. So for bread, I'm putting challah bread. Holla at ya boy. For fowl, I think we're going to do a pheasant. Like a roast pheasant. I think that's good. And all of these feel a little upper class. And then fish. What is a medieval fish? 1300s fish recipe. Medieval fried fish. Tell me. Oh, like, hi, how are you? It's going well so far. We're banging into it. So we're gonna put anchovies, because I love anchovies. So we have all of our stuff now. We have marzipan cake. We have hop sauce, so a beer sauce. We have challah bread. We have roast pheasant, and we have anchovies. I'm gonna call that, yeah. We have like a marinated anchovy, I think would be fair. All right, folks. I think someone's at my door. It is 7:54 at night. Let's see if they go away. Okay. So we have all these recipes. This is now our cookbook, which we have assembled. We've done it. Congratulations. And again, you can cut them out, or you can use sticky notes. So we are now going to go to the second section. Entrees. Cooking and haunting. The card that you see in front of you is what Haley and I decided upon for the chariot. This is a simple wooden chair. When she said it was for the chariot, it did make me cry, so I had to go with it, because it did make me sob. But this is the chariot tarot cake. Yeah, I know, right? It's so good. But it's the chariot tarot card. I think it's very sweet. So, we are now in the chariot, which is going to be, as I would like to recall to you, cooking and haunting. So we're going to dive in, and I'm going to tell you how to start the game. So, the diary entry begins when the book is opened. So we're going to choose a recipe your cookbook has been opened to and answer the prompt using the theme on the recipe card to inform our writing. So, let's start in the middle. I want to do a roast pheasant. It's got a difficulty of 10. You guys really hated me, and you gave me the 15 and then the two highest ones, which are both 13. So we're just gonna do 10 and hope for the best. So, we are then going to draw 2 persona cards from the persona deck. Those are the 2 people, sometimes more, in the kitchen cooking the recipe. So, we are going to draw 2. So, person 1 is temperance reversed. I am then going to also draw the second one, which is the hermit. Right side up. So temperance and the hermit. Guys, I'm so sorry. This person won't go away. Please give me one moment. I have to make sure nothing's on fire. Ugh. What have I come back to? Ugh. I opened the door and I like looked and it's a bunch of little kids. They're trying to ding dong ditch an apartment. I got ding dong ditched in an apartment. I'm tired. I yelled, I'm streaming! Alright. Yes, good, Artica. I will retire you from your captaincy position. Let's get back to it. Thank you all for waiting so patiently as I got ding dong ditched. Okay, so now we are going to use the definitions to make sure. So hold on. Blech. We are now going to use the prompts that are marked by these cards. So, temperance reversed. Who is in this kitchen as the book opens? And I also have, if you must know, a set of centuries that this book is being opened in. So I have, like, you can go rogue and roll your own, which is great. Or, because, like, some centuries are not fun for some people. And I get that. And I don't want you to have fun. Like, I don't want to play during World War II. You know? Like, there's certain times where I just don't want to vibe. So for me, we're going to open on the 17th century. So for us, the book is opened again, book quote unquote, to, this is going to be December 5th, 1700. That's where we're going to open to. It's, I think, a medieval court is what we're not, like, I mean, this is right around the Baroque culture movement. As you know, what they say, if it's not Baroque, don't fix it. But this one's right around the Baroque movement. A lot of art in the space. I think it's a lot of glitz, a lot of beauty. Hi, Mocats. What's up? Welcome to the party. Thank you for the follow. So, we are in the December of the 1700s. We're approaching Yule, and people are preparing. When we open, I think we are in these are merchants, I think, based on the merchant class that they have kind of risen themselves up into. They're Jewish, but it was still possible to be part of the lender class at that time, so we're going to play with that. So the first person is the Temperance Reversed. Who is that? Temperance Reversed. Someone's cooking to handle trauma. Who are they? What is a hurt you couldn't forget? Who are they? So someone's cooking to handle trauma. I think a woman is cooking in the kitchen. It is the first Yule, the first Christmas, basically, without her husband. Her husband has passed away from illness. It is the first Christmas without him, and she's cooking to try and forget, to try and take her mind off of it. And when my book... Let me do this as the ghost. The book opens, and I smell fire and smoke. And when I look around, I see beautiful objects. The table is made of such fine, thick wood that will last. I see pots and pans hanging above what appears to be a fire pit, where I can smell the roast pheasant as it turns on a spit. I can smell it. And when I look, I see the shadow of a frail young woman standing over it. She is holding herself. Her hands are picking at herbs, letting them fall to the floor, and I think that's wasteful. But I let it go just because there's something in the rigidity of her shoulders, that tension, the gentle clenching of a locket that draws me to a place of more respect, and I pause. And then the prompt is, what is a hurt you couldn't forget? Rebecca, in the 1300s, I think Rebecca had a husband as well, and she had a son who wanted her land, who didn't respect her, and I think a hurt that she couldn't forget is that when her husband died and she was left with the house, her son fought to take ownership of it, and she was relegated to a position of no authority. She was pushed to the back, kind of to fade and to die and to wither and to be forgotten. And I think that is the hurt that she cannot forget. And as I'm going to use I terms, I can remember what it was like to stand hunched over a fire as I heard laughter from the other room, expected to serve a young bride and her erstwhile fellow, my son, who sits in the chair my husband sat at, who dares to sit in the chair that he sat at, while I have to stand and my feet hurt. My son took away the chair the other day because he said I was spending too much time resting. We can afford to hire someone to help, but he will not. And as that woman stands and holds herself, I can almost feel my own arms and I can almost feel my ghostly elbows as I hold them. So that is the first card. And this is all prompts that I'm using. So now we drew the Hermit, right side up. So who is in the room with this young woman? A repeat cook has opened the book as part of their nightly cooking ritual. Who are they? What was something you did that was only for you? I think that as the woman is looking at the roast pheasant, there is, in this house, this nice house, a group of servants, of paid professionals who are watching her. And a little unnerved by her. I think they're not used to someone so grand and beautiful being in, or not beautiful, that doesn't, wealth, you know what, doesn't dictate goodness or beauty. So there's that. But they don't expect the woman of the house to be cooking her own meals anymore. They expect her to be domineering and giving demands and being organized, being the person in charge, especially in a merchant home, and she's just quiet. And I think the older servant of the home walks over and is sort of looking. I think she opens this book every night. I think it's an elder aunt, maybe someone who's fallen on hard times, who has come to live with her much younger niece. And she opens the book every night to remember, to feel the pages, to feel part of something larger. And she opens it and she's going to be walking over, and she takes, I think, the bundle of herbs from this girl's clenched fist. And as she pries the hand open, I watch and I see the red marks. I see the lines of how tightly she was clenching it with one hand. And she seems startled. And I can almost feel the warmth of the other woman, almost as warm as the fire, if not more so, in a way that's inside, in a way that touches. As she gently leads the girl over and begins to show her how to cut, but the girl is despondent. She is not listening. So, what was something you did that was only for you? That's my memory. So, something I did that was only for me. I remember when I was a child and I would pick herbs. My mother had an herb garden. She was called a witch by some, but not for long enough that they would, not pay for her wares. She sold herbs in the herb garden, and it's how we started our fortune. And she showed me all of the little ways the herbs grew, and she always told me, oh, these are weeds. You don't want the weeds, you have to throw them away, you won't get a good crop because they hog the soil. But I really liked the weeds. I found them to be wild and free. And something that I did that was only for me is I would take those weeds and I would try and replant them in another part of the earth. I would take them and I would try to move them to another place, and it was my personal private area. That is something I would do. So, this is the scene that we have set together. This is what we are facing. My own memories as well as those of who are beside me. So, we are now going to fill in the family tree. We're going to take out a pen. I think, and we are going to just narrate who's next. So here's me! Hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I like that I'm forcing all these people to follow me so you can talk to me. I do it for my safety, I promise. So here's me, Rebecca. And at some point, I had a husband, I had a son, and he had a wife. So I'm gonna say son and wife. My husband. Oh, hi, Alex. How are you? Should have known by that username, to be honest. I'm just very focused on my game. So, we have Rebecca. I had a son. Much time has passed. And we now have the aunt, who is going to be from the husband's side. I think I am going to call her Imelda, because I love that name. Just think that's a great name. And I think I'm going to call the little girl... Oh, thank you. It's from Streamlabs. It's a Streamlabs special. Hey, Chelsea. Thank you for the follow. And then, son and his wife. More lines. More things have happened now. And this young woman's name is going to be Lucy. So we have Lucy and Imelda. So, we have our kitchen. We have our time period. We have everything we need to begin the next step. And again, this is a solo journaling game. If you are digging what this is and you are interested in this, here's the crowdfunder link. Please go to it. Please subscribe. This is my magnum opus at this point. At my point in my life, that's what's happening. We are currently making roast pheasant from the little recipes that come with the book. So, the next step, we have our scene. We need to make sure this is going well. We need to make sure, yeah, right? It's different. It's very different now. So we are now going to go in and I'm going to draw. I'm going to note that the dish number is 10. And the theme for roast pheasant, by the way, is parenthood. So I think that the woman is sad. I also think that she is pregnant. I think she's alone and she is pregnant. I think we're going to add, Lucy's pregnant. Lucy is going to have the heir and is alone and is scared. And that is what she is facing on her first Christmas alone. Facing down the barrel of the rest of her life. Having to raise a child and figure out, you know, this heir who's going to come and inherit. Hopefully it'll be a boy, because if not, the house is gone. So we want to, as our job, to successfully make sure that this recipe is made. So we are going to now draw 5 power cards from our power deck. If we all remember what that is, it's the minor deck. So again, we split the deck into 2, major and minor arcana. We are going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our hand. So it doesn't matter if they're reversed or not. This is not where that comes into play. What comes into play are the numbers on the cards. So I drew an 8, an ace, a 6, a 5, and a 5. The swords, cups, and things, those are going to be what my modifiers determine. So to be more clear, on the recipe card, we have +1 pentacles. Their hops is going to be +1 wands. Marzipan's going to be +2 cups. These are modifiers to our rolls. So if I use any card, if I use a power that's a pentacle card, I gain +1 to the roll. So what does that even mean? Wow, what is that? So at the start of each generation, we draw power. We do not draw again for the rest of the generation unless you cannot meet the dish number in what's in your hand. The dish number, that 10, we need to play cards in this deck that equal or are above 10. So like an 8 and a 6 would beat 10, right? If I played these 2 powers, I would beat 10 and I would successfully complete the recipe and be able to move on to the next part of the game. I can only play 3 powers per generation, only 3 of them, and I play them one at a time. So that way, if I, for example, fail the 8 of wands, I can play a 6 of swords and a 5 of swords and still try and get an 11. So, you know, that way you're not fucked. But if you get 2 of them and you don't, if I don't have a 10 in my hand, I fail the recipe. And I'll show you what happens if you fail. God help me if I fail. So we are going to play 1 card at a time. I have a list of powers in this game. And if you go to the itch page, you can actually play the preview yourself. Let me actually really quick link the preview page. I think that's a cute little thing I can do for you right now. My friends, is my little preview itch page where you can play a reduced version of this game yourself to kind of figure out what's going on. It's taking a long time to load because my computer has a lot going on right now, emotionally and mentally. I do not pity this computer right now, to be honest. Truly do not pity this computer. It's doing the best it can. Yeah, I'm not done yet. It should be done by end of week, though, which I'm really happy about. Here is the My Mother's Kitchen preview. If you are super curious and you're not super sold on this yet, you can play your own preview of the game. That includes some of the art as well as the rules that I'm explaining right now. So, and you can also follow along. I don't include all of the power definitions. You will need to remove most of the power cards from your hands, but it's still possible to play if you truly believe in yourself and love. Anyway, let's keep going. So I'm going to go to the power page. For me, the power table starts on page 24. This book's huge. I'm going to choose... Let's start... I have a pentacles. Do I have a corresponding pentacles? I do not, because my life is a nightmare. So, that sucks. I'm gonna have to raw dog it, baby. So, I am going to, in that case, play the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords, when I use anything with a 6 on it, that is ghostwriting. I can write one word. It can look like a handprint in flour, a name in butter. I could write a word in the steam in the air. Anything. So, here's what I have to do. I have a Six of Swords. I don't get any modifier. I also don't have any face cards. So if I had a face card in this deck, like a king or a queen or a knight or a page, those are different modifiers I could play alongside the sword. So if I had a King of Swords, I could play it with the Six of Swords and get +3 to my roll for this card. But I don't. So, aha! But yeah, those are just extra little bonuses as you go. So we're going to take the D10. I need to get a 6 or higher. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm so happy to have you here. Oh, my goodness. There's a few more followers. Thank you for the follow, everybody. Ideas Machines. Great follow. Thank you. Emma and Pap are both here. It's a goddamn party. I'm in Emma's. If you haven't played or seen All the Witches yet, great game. Truly, go look them up on Kickstarter. Absolutely bonkers. I like it a lot. So... we're going to roll our die, and we're going to try and meet a 6 or go above it. I rolled a 4, which means I failed. So here's what happens when I fail. I have a fail mechanic. So, for me, dirty the kitchen and trigger a fight. So I try and... I feel this tension, and I know what that tension is. I know what it's like to look down the barrel at your life and just see nothing and not be able to hope for a better future because you're just stuck. And I know that very intimately. I know that very well. And I feel a sense of envy because I didn't have someone like Imelda to hold my hand. And I watch these two women as she tries to show her how to use the herb. And I stir the herbs at their feet, what Lucy had been picking at, and I try, and they end up getting all over their shoes and on the hems of their dresses, and dirties them. Lucy looks down, and that dirtiness, that marring, I can tell in her eyes, she feels that what she feels on the inside now reflects outside, and I watch her snap. And I watch her turn to Imelda, and I watch her slam her hand on the table, irregardless of the walnut shells that crack into her hand as she yells out, "Will you stop? Will you stop trying? There's no point to this. There's no point to any of this. Who are you kidding? You just want me to be better and feel better so that you can do your job." And I think that's what triggers the fight. And Imelda, who doesn't take shit from anybody, let alone her niece, is going to fight back. She has helped her through so much, and I can see it in the weary tension, and I understand Imelda too. I understand how to have someone feel ungrateful towards you because my son abandoned me, and here is this woman feeling on the edge of being abandoned, feeling like she needs a lifeboat, she needs some kind of help, and is not finding it, is not able to pull out this drowning woman, so she too is being pulled down to drown, and I think she's going to fight against that. So Imelda is going to snap back. How dare you say that? I am the one who is even helping you cook in the first place. You think any of this would happen without me? And I'm watching the servants start to retreat as well. And I knew I have caused this fight. And then I smell the burning. They are forgotten that they are cooking. And the roast pheasant is beginning to be set on fire. So that's card 1. So that's what failure looks like with that card. So I feel bad. I mean, I feel like there was envy in my heart, and maybe that's why that manifested itself, but I'm a ghost. I can affect this. Maybe I can help my family. I can show them, you know? They're drowning each other when they could be climbing up together out of this, when they could be looking at the sun rather than diving into the mud. So I am going to try a 5 of swords this time. The 5 is going to be an electronic or mechanic disruption. So it can look like lights flickering, microwaves beeping, a television turned on to a specific moment in the movie, or a flame being ignited or extinguished. So for me, what I'm going to try to do is I am going to try and stop the fight. I am going to try and turn off the lights completely. I'm going to try and flicker them just enough so it at least distracts them. So I'm going to, again, I don't have anything. It's my second card. I'm going to roll, hopefully 5 or above. And I got a 10! It succeeds! Absolutely excellent. I reach out my hands and I sigh and I wish that someone had been there to lift me up. And I think about that, and the lights begin to dim out, and it's fire. The lights flicker out, and I can feel, or I can think of what it feels like. I can't actually feel it, but I can feel the energy, and I can dim it. And as a ghost, I flicker the lights very slowly down and up, almost as if in counter rhythm to their tempo that they've been setting as they've been arguing. And they both stop, and they pause, and they turn. The windows the windows are open, but there's no wind. And they both look at each other, and I think the success for an electronic or mechanical disruption is create an intimate moment when something fails or turns on. And I think for them, what that looks like is there is a moment of darkness, and when the lights flicker back on, including the light in the stove, Imelda turns, and the reddened and angry face of Lucy has become scrunched up as she is just crying and whispering, "I'm sorry," over and over again. And I think Imelda knows that Lucy's not talking to her anymore, but Imelda understands and takes Lucy into her arms and just holds her close. And at that point, the servants have begun to filter out. They want to give these two some privacy. And I think Lucy breaks down in Imelda's arms, just crying. And I think Imelda gently strokes Lucy on her head and whispers, like she's a child, "It's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay." And I think Imelda and Lucy both know it might not be okay, but that is the intimate moment when you have to lie to each other in order to hope. And Imelda begins to cry too. So that's a 5. We've succeeded. Thank you. We're haunting today. We are then going to now play the last card. The roast pheasant it's going to be well done if we save it now. It might burn. So in order to succeed, I need a 10. So I have a 5 of cups and an 8 of wands. I just did a 5, and I want to... You know what? Let's get a little risky. I'm actually going to... You know what? No, I don't. I want to show you what it is when you succeed, so I'm going to do another 5. I'm going to do the 5 of cups. So these 2 cards, that was my last card. I now discard these with the 6 of swords that I failed. So this is now discarded. We do not reshuffle these back in. We let them cycle. So now we are going to roll again. It's another 5, so it would be another electronic or mechanical disruption. That's another 10. I'm not kidding. And again, this time the lights flare brighter to life and the world becomes almost more real in this light. And I think the two of them sniff, and as the light becomes real, they are looking at each other in almost ultra definition, in the light that does not hide. Because you can't hide when something happens, it lays you bare to other people in ways you wouldn't expect. And when they look at each other in that light that illuminates, I think they see each other for the first time. I think Imelda sees a young girl who wants to be a woman, but who feels like a child, about to have a child. And Lucy sees an older woman scared of being forgotten and of being relegated to the past, of being a relic. And I think the two of them can't fix this. And that's what's hard about it. You can't fix it when something breaks like this. But they can do one thing. They turn and they pick the herbs together off the floor. And they're crying and they're laughing. And Lucy winces. She can't bend that well. So Imelda yells at her to stand back up. But it's a different kind of yelling. And I smile. I smile. And then I stop. It feels strange on my face. It feels stale. And I feel guilty. I helped. But I'm not in this moment. And oh god, the roast pheasant. They turn, they see it, and they shriek. And they each wrap their aprons around their hands and lift the spit up, laughing and talking. And the servants almost get permission to sweep back in, and the world bustles again. And we have successfully made the roast pheasant. That is one recipe done. So now we are going to turn it to the note. We have successfully finished a scene. Congratulations, y'all. We did it. So here's what happens next. We are now going to finish the recipe. We are going to... Yes, it's perfectly caramelized! It's gorgeous. It tastes so good. It falls apart in their mouths. It's delicious. And that whole house smells good for days. So, we are now going to go to finishing a recipe on page 11. And I am going to choose a prompt. And I am going to learn something. So I am going to have my notes. I learned about my son's an asshole. My son's an asshole and he took my house. And I had a weed garden. Because it was just for me. And then I am going to choose one of the prompts. Just pick one. 420, baby. Who did you write this recipe down for is one of the prompts. I think I'm going to answer that prompt now. Who did I write this recipe down for? I wrote this recipe down. Right, fuck the son. He sucks. I wrote the recipe down for the daughter I wanted to have. No, I wrote the recipe down for... I wrote the recipe down for my son's future wife, so she will know how to do it. Because I was once a new wife in a home that I was scared of, and I want her to feel protected and that she has a place here, which is ironic because she replaced me and supplanted me, not in a sexual way, in like a fully you belong in the kitchen way. For my future daughter-in-law, I think she had hopes. Oh, even too late. I wrote sister. Oh, yeah. So this is what the note on the back looks like. It has the memories. This is what the front looks like. That's a successful recipe. So, how do we win this game? You'll win this game when you do that for 3 of these. You have 5 recipes. When you complete 3 recipes, you have won the game, and you can recall your wish. You can pick one of the wish themes from what I've written, for example, to share your love, to build the kind of family you never had, to let go of pain, revenge, or hatred. There's a bunch of these that you can choose from, and then write it down, and you can then journal how you free yourself, which I kind of walk you through in the game. However, you can lose this game. You lose this game if you fail 3 recipes. If you fail 3 recipes, there is no way for you to win 3 recipes, and your book falls apart. It is lost to time, and you fade away from memory. However, and if you, let's say we failed this one. Let's say we had that moment together, all of us, and we wrote all of this down. If you fail the recipe, you still need to write all of this down. You need to answer the question. But what you do is, you cut it in half. You destroy it. You blend it. It's gone. That moment and everything that came with it is destroyed. You rip it up. It's out. If If you do that 3 times, you're done. However, there is hope. If you go back, you can do a new game plus. We take the pieces of the recipe that we had cut. We reassemble them back together to make a whole. A forgotten recipe. A forgotten memory. So don't do what I did and like blow them all across the room, because that was cool, but it kind of fucked up my game. But you reassemble. The point is, you reassemble them to the point where one day, someone who will remember you and rewrite the recipe. This is your new game plus, which can only be accessed if you fail your game. This is now a successful recipe. All the rest of your recipes are gone. You need to turn back to your recipe book and pick 4 new recipes. And you can start again with the same character. You then pick a persona card. It's a tarot card. The Magician. This is the person that remembers you. And this is who starts the new scene as they rewrite it and you look at them as they remember you. And they bring you back to life. Unfortunately, all your memories are gone, but you remember, the player. And isn't that what matters at the end, is the player always remembers, because that's... We are the ones who remember when things are forgotten. Like, this is a game, but we're the ones who feel sad when something is let go of. We all fear to be not remembered. And I think that's what makes this game a little stressful and a little hard at some points, is you have to think tactically, like, what are you learning to, what are you gonna risk, right? So, that is how you play My Mother's... It's got a lot of replay value for being something you rip to shreds. And I mean, you will also get a PDF with this game. And again, if you are interested in following this game, you can find it and help me crowdfund to make this thing real. This is where you will go to crowdfund your the game that I have carefully crafted. This, you can sign up and subscribe to get your copy of this game. So, let's keep scrolling down. So, I want to show you another beautiful card. This is side, step 3, winning and losing. This is the Fool Arcana, which I think is very cool. I really like this game. Amber, I'm not. You're the one who gave this feedback. You're the one who was like, I need this. No one. Okay, bet. I got you. Oh, we are also joined by my boyfriend's gift. Chef Frog! Please, everybody, a ribbon in the chat for Chef Frog. Who's been with us, cooking and loving, and I don't really know what he's making, because there's an apple, there's 2 pieces of bread, and I think vinegar, and a plum. Ribbon in the chat for Chef Frog. Folks, ribbon in the chat for Chef Frog. I would love someone to do an actual play of this as Chef Frog, and it's like a family of frogs. Fuck, oh, that'd be so fun. Everyone's a frog. Frog world. I love frogs. So, anyway, that is my game that I present to you. Other things that are included in this game, if I may show you, are I've formatted it. Each section is formatted as a side, a dessert, an appetizer, an entree. There's also how to win with little ingredients of what you need to win. Take a moment to breathe, reflect on your life and how it intertwines with the lives of those your recipes have touched. Think about the similarities you've seen and how choices have taken your descendants on roads you could only have imagined. Journal how you've been freed from the book and what your final thoughts are as you can finally rest in peace as you answer the final question, who waits for you? Artica's like, why is everybody riveting in the chat? To give you more of an idea of what's in this game, I also give you instructions for losing My Mother's Kitchen as well as New Game Plus. This is also, hello, welcome. I'm going to be playing another round of this as I move to the next generation, since we technically have one successful recipe, even though I did chop it up. This is dessert, step 4, so this is going to be Yes, thank you, Amber. I worked really hard. I think it's almost ready. I think it's ready to go live. I think it's ready to publish. I'm ready to go, unless Brent's like, I've noticed some problems, and I'll be like, okay. Hello, Rapscalicious. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for joining me tonight. I am talking about My Mother's Kitchen, a solo journaling game where cooking sets you free. And just as a reminder, this is where you can go to follow it. It's going to be going live February 1st. I'm very excited. Have fun at your stream, Amber. I'm sure my time as the most popular TTRPG stream on Itch is coming to an end because all of the 8 o'clock games have started. But it's been a pleasure while it lasted. It's very cute, and people cry a lot when they play it because it is powerful. So, next to Rooney. Perfect and beautiful in all its own ways. This is the Empress card. It is based off of my grandmother. Shout out to Steph Crayons. Rest in peace, lady. This is the generation table, so if you want to deviate from the recommended recipe centuries, there's a D10 table, so I can just take up that pretty D10, roll it. And that's an 8, so I can go to the 19th century. And as you notice, there's also room in this game for sci-fi. Because you can go to the 22nd and 23rd centuries and imagine what life will be in the future as it was in the past. So you could technically make this a sci-fi game. Maybe that, if this succeeds, maybe that's my sequel. My Mother's Kitchen in the future. Kind of thing. I think that'd be fun. I like this game a lot. The Persona table has a lot. Some of my favorite prompts. Someone who's newly separated. Who are we? Who are they? How did you cope with loneliness? My mother's replicator. Stop. That's too good. Yeah, so we have all of these prompts. Some of them are hard. One of them is, someone will not meet another's eye. Who are they and why? What was the secret you took to your death? Some of them are happy. A grandmother dancing in the kitchen. Why is she dancing? And when was the last time you danced? Like, there is an array of, from sad to happy to sorrowful and melancholy to joyful in these pages that you really... I think it really encapsulates the whole of the experience of families and who they are to each other and how we live with each other when we can barely live with ourselves. Which is a grim thought, but it's a thought. The power table, as you can see, goes all the way up to the face cards. I also have a little space for the family tree where you can write it all out, baby. You can track it. That's fun. You can fill up the pages to your heart's content or print it out and do it separately. And this is where all of the recipes are stored. As you can see, there are still 4 recipes that you can print out and make your own versions of this. So if you feel limited by the options given, you could just make your own, and I would love to see what you make. And then I have cocktails. So this is going to be step 5, history and technology. So in addition to all of this gameplay that you would get when you fund this game, I also supply you with era prompts. So it basically, I give you a bunch of websites that can break down specific events by year if you want to play very deeply in history rather than do more general, oh, it's Christmas in medieval times. Damn. Oh, God. But I do want to point out that this game is from my point of view, and a lot of the research, I did a lot of research on this game. A lot of the research that I did turned out to be very Eurocentric because that's what's free and the most readily available stuff. However, a lot of cultures existed before many of these events, so I try and give as much breadth to this as possible. I also give a brief history of the spice trade, which is a brutal and colonialist event in human history. I do break down when spices came to and where, so you would know, maybe it's not possible to make this dish at this point. And I also talk about, thinking about what's available, who benefits, what's whitewashed, all that. I also do a breakdown of kitchen appliances and the year that they were made. And this one was really fun because no one was hurt in this one. I liked that a lot, except for a lot of sweatshops, which sucked. However, you can take a look through on your own if you get this game. This is where the final page will be the backsplash. But everybody, this has been My Mother's Kitchen. I think we might do... Does anybody want to do one more round? One more round of this? We'll go to another time period. Maybe we go... Let's go to modern day. Why don't we do this modern day? Let's do one more round. Okay, I am going to pick... Yes, let's do it. I am going to pick the challah bread. The hardest recipe in the game. There is only one recipe with a difficulty level of 15, and it's bread. The theme is second chances, because you don't get any when you make bread. And the modifier is +3 to Pentacles. So let's dive in. So remember, our first step, we are going to draw 2 persona cards to say who is in the kitchen. It is the 21st century. When my book is opened, I'm still playing as this solid and stoic Rebecca. I am going to open my eyes, again, aware, and immediately I hear the sound of a city. I think in the 21st century, we're in New York City, because that's where I live. So I'm like, do what you know. I think at first I'm so taken aback by all the sounds that I don't take anything in. I'm just jarred. There's a dog barking, which I'm used to, but it sounds like a small dog. And only rich people have small dogs, but this space is so small. It's a studio. I'm confused. I do not like this one bit. So the 2 people who are in the kitchen, I already pulled the magician for something else, so we can put that aside. Justice is the first card. Justice. And the person who is in the room with Justice is an upside down the tower. Here's the tower upside down. It's very pretty. You can look at my Streamlabs through it. So, let's get the corresponding prompts with this one. So I'm going to scroll down to the prompts. Whee! Follow me! We are going to... So, Justice... Where is it? Justice, where are you? So it's upright. Someone's cooking as an apology. Who are they and why? How did you make it up to someone after a fight? And then the tower is reversed. Someone will not meet another's eye. Who are they and why? What was the secret you took to your death? That works really well. Damn. I want to go to, like, the pretty little book on this one for this page. Okay. Okay. So, let's do the prompts. Let's do these prompty boys. So, the first one is... Boop. I have to go back. I have to, like, I have 2 different versions of this game open. One is the quick start guide, which is on itch, that you can use to do a brief version of this game. And the other one is just my monster of a PDF. I really like this game. I'm very proud of this game. This game has helped me and harmed me in so many ways. Anyway, Justice upright. I know they fit together so well, Rapscalicious. Someone's cooking as an apology. Who are they and why? They're making challah bread. So challah bread's complicated because part of it is you have to braid the bread. I think when they're making the bread, Justice is a young man. He is trying to be an actor in the city. And I think he does stand up. And he revealed something private on stage about his boyfriend. And first of all, Rebecca's like, wow, I wish I could have had a girlfriend. Damn. In my time, absolutely not. So let me paint the scene. This young man has curly hair. It's a little moppy. Rebecca, I sigh. Why do all these young men need haircuts all the time? It's so irresponsible. And I'm watching as he pounds the dough for the challah bread. And I'm wincing with every pound. Because with challah bread, since I wrote the recipe, you can't pound the bread. If you make it too dense, that's just a brioche. You have to leave air bubbles inside of it. You have to fold it. You can't pound the bread. You have to be careful. And that pounding, that thing is going to be disgusting. How did I make it up to someone after a fight? I think when my sister and I fought, I would always make her cry, right? I would always make her cry because I was so scathing, and she wanted my approval so much, and I just wouldn't give it to her. I just wouldn't give it to her, and it seems so silly now looking back why I wouldn't do that, because seeing someone as they are is such a simple thing, and it took being relegated to that dark corner to realize that just to see someone is an act of love, and to withhold it is a violence. And so I think I would go to my sister where she was crying, and I would ask her to show me her art. I think she was a painter. I think she had a gentle soul. I think she always wanted to be where the flowers bloomed and where things were beautiful, and I always resented that she never wanted to look at life directly in the eyes, and I was jealous that she didn't have to because I was the older sister. I was jealous. She was small and beautiful, and she had these sensibilities of life and what it could be, but I only saw life for what it was, and I never wanted to, but I made it out to her for those few fleeting moments, letting her show me what her life was through her eyes, and seeing her as she was. And I never apologized to her, but I made it up to her by engaging with her in the things she loved and cared about. We're gonna pour some more tea. Tea SMR. Don't know if you can hear that. And then, for the tower, someone who won't meet someone's eyes. Damn. I think... that one's hard. This was the tower reversed. This one's hard. Someone will not meet another's eyes. I think they won't meet the other's eyes because they have already found a new apartment. I think this is a couple who are breaking up. I think I'm watching them, and I can tell by the way that this young man, I'm gonna call him my descendant in the 21st century. We'll call him Ryan. Ryan keeps looking over his shoulder, trying to look at his partner, but his partner is not looking at him and refuses to see him. Just shuts down and is barely responding. You can tell something's wrong, but he won't engage. I think he already moved on. I think that was the last straw. And I also think he's in love with someone else. I think he met someone and he didn't want to betray his partner and all they've been through, but I can see it. It's almost like I can see the colors of their lives unfolding in this tapestry around them in a circle. And I understand, because something that I couldn't tell someone, something that I took to my grave, was that I was in love with the woman next door. We would sneak off when I had a spare moment, and she was my solace when I was alone. She made me feel seen, and I never told my husband when it was happening, and I never told my family what I felt. I couldn't. It was the 1300s, but it was the most beautiful love I've ever experienced, and I couldn't tell anyone about it. No one could see me. So when she died, I think that was the first time I died. I have not died. The second time was when I died, for realsies. But the third time hasn't happened yet, because this book hasn't been destroyed yet. And life finds a way. So, that is our current situation, right? So he's pounding the shit out of this challah bread. His boyfriend is about to break up with him, and I need to find a way to make sure this dude just stops fucking wailing on this challah bread recipe. So now we pick 5 power cards, which are the minor arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as a reminder, we can only play the 3. So, we are using the bread recipe. That's a +3 to pentacles. Second chance to the theme, so I think that there is hope for this couple. And the dish number is 15. Again, the 3 cards I have to play must meet or be above 15. That's why it's so fucking hard. So this +3 to Pentacles. Let me get my D10 out again. My D10's from Odd Duck Dice. I fucking love them. If I ever do a reprint of this game, I will be probably approaching a dice maker to put little vegetables in a die. I had this idea last night when it was too late to make it happen, and I'm so mad at myself that I just wasn't like, hey, can you put some veggies in a die? A little plastic vegetables. That wouldn't be done in time, baby. Not for fulfillment. Not when someone else is doing fulfillment. That's a next time thing. Okay, so what do we have? We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. There's definitely a way for us to meet 15. It depends on that 9. So I can't redraw my hand. The Nines of Wands. I have an Ace of Pentacles. An Ace is an auto win. I don't have anything else. For the sake of this is gonna be a bitch. Oh my god. I'm gonna redraw. I'm cheating. I'm cheating. I want to have a chance in hell. I'm cheating. Nobody tell anybody I'm cheating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all cups. I deserve this at this point. So I got a Page of Cups. So when you get a face card, this at least gives you a little more of a shot. The page is a +1 to any roll. So if I played a similar card, so I don't have any fucking swords. Ah! I'm gonna redraw. No, I can't. If I did have a pair of swords, I'd be able to add +1 to the sword that I put down on the die, so it'd be more fair, be more even. But I'm not. I'm just gonna see what happens. Sometimes the cards are stacked against you, but what shows the reality of your cooking character is if you still try. So I'm going to start with the Six of Wands. I think let's do it. 6 of Wands. So I'm gonna roll this. We have to get a 6 or above to activate it. It's a 2. I fail. Because why wouldn't I? The 6 of Wands is ghostwriting. I've done that one already. Hold on. Fuck it, let's do 10 of Cups. I did the 6 already. I want to show you guys something new of my mechanics. So the 10 is the manifest card. I have to get a 10 or nothing. So if I succeed, I appear for 1 minute and I have a full conversation with those in the room. I am loved and I am welcomed. On a failure, I spark fear and horror. My best efforts go unheard. -5 to my next power roll. It can look like sitting on a stool, a figure in the television, or holding the cookbook. It's all or nothing, baby. That's a 5. I failed. So I am so frustrated. If these two just talked to each other, if they just talked and stood and just looked at each other, as Lucy and Imelda did, as me and my love did, there would be a chance for a connection or to end it in a way that won't devastate the other. There will at least be like a human connection. So I appear in the room, just the flickering visage of a woman's shadow against the wall, and I hold up one hand out to them as if to reach out, and I open my mouth to speak. But as I draw in a breath, which sounds too sharp in this loud apartment, they both turn and scream and drop the dough and fall away in horror as I fade out of sight. They start screaming, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Which I think is a bad use of language, to be perfectly honest. But that was a failure, so we're gonna put this failure away. Alright, -5 to my next roll. Oh boy. Let's do 6 of Wands. We've done 6. That's a 2 -5. I'm failing. I try again. And I know as I try again, this is my last shot. 2 is ink blue. 6, sorry. 6 is ghostwriting. I reach out a finger, a ghostly hand that seems to travel through the air, through the shafts of dusty light. Why don't they ever clean this house, these men? And I'm going to try and write in the dust on the window, hope. But as I do that, I get more dust into the air, and one of them begins to sneeze. I have no 15 in my hand. This was a failure. The first one begins to cough and sneeze, and the other shakes its head and stands up. I'm going for a walk. I'm not done though. I'm not done. I can do this. I can still do this. I don't think you can. And that sentence hangs in the air, and I know that there are some sentences that once they are out like dust, they get into your lungs. And no matter how hard you cough and sneeze, they can't leave those lungs again. They become nestled in the bloodstream of the person who hears them. And they become like barbs, buried and scarring the tongue of the one who said them. And this man, at a loss for words, turns and walks away, leaving Ryan alone. Ryan doesn't have any response. I can hear him inhale like a punched intake of breath. And then the door closes. Fuck, he says, and he flips the bowl over and just lets the dough fall to the floor as he sinks to the ground and puts his head in his hands, the heels of his hands rubbing into his eyes until he sees stars. And all I can do is stare from the recipe book. And he stands up, and I watch him come closer, and I want to put my hands up and protect myself, but I can't. And when he rips the recipe from the book and begins to tear it into shreds, my vision blurs. And I see nothing. And I am nothing. I failed the bread recipe. The bread recipe is now gone. So when you fail a recipe, here's what it is for sure, for realsies. So what have we learned? Let me grab my PDF. So when we fail a recipe, whether we succeed or don't, we write down what we learned. So, what regret do I associate with this recipe? This is the game, my friend. This is the game. And it can be really beautiful and hopeful. We had a beautiful scene before you came in with a young girl and her aunt. But now we pick a prompt. What victory do I associate with this recipe? The victory I associate, and this is the one memory I have that comes to me, like a bolt from the blue, like an umbrella filled with stars that I open on a rainy day to gaze up into. Challah bread. It was the first recipe my mother-in-law ever taught me. And she said, as long as you know how to make this for the people in your life, you will always have plenty. And we're going to write that down. Mother-in-law taught it to me. Always have plenty. And every time I made it, every single time I made this recipe, it was like my family came together and all the hurts we felt for each other didn't matter because we were all pulling from the same loaf of bread. And our hands would brush and we'd laugh and smile at each other. And it created a sense of closeness. And the closeness was the victory. To be close, to see each other, to look at each other, and to know that sometimes all you need is the brush of a hand, a moment to make it all right. And that is now gone. So, we have one succeed and one fail. I think this has been most of the game that you have seen so far. There is one more recipe that we need to either succeed on 2 more, or we need to fail 2 more in order to succeed. And if it's a tie, you continue on. You can cut out more recipes and you can go for as long as you need to. So, let's pretend we have all the recipes, right? Let's time skip, because I don't want to do all of them on the stream. I think that'd be a lot. To say out loud, especially, because my little throatsy, it's feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I'm going to pack up all my little cards. And as a reminder to everybody in the chat, if you are digging this game, if you like the vibes I am putting down, these sad fucking vibes tonight, You can find this game. There's like bits of paper falling all over me. You can find this game at the crowdfunder page. Please subscribe to this game. It is a labor of love. I've been working on it for what feels like all of my life. Oh my god. Woohoo! This has been a Gabe, my friends. I'm just making sure no one's trying to speak to me on any platforms or tell me like my underwear's out. Because I, personally, I'd hate that. That would suck. This has been like very satisfying. This game is very satisfying to me. I also like it's a solo game. You're not playing with people. If you want things to work out in this world for your family, you can make them work out. You don't need to feel helpless as things fall apart. In this game, you have my full permission to lie and to cheat to get the ending that you want. Because it's a game. And sometimes we can't game our lives. And sometimes we don't get the family we wish we had. And we don't get the close relationship with certain people in our lives. And by the time they're gone, we think about what could have been. And that doesn't have to be what this game is. We can live in this game, as sad as it is, in a world where everything's happy. Thank you for joining me. So, I'm going to finish the game with the final prompt. And we are going to call it a night. Because I think you all have seen the game. We've done our due diligence. This one, it's in the rules, kind of. I have to put that in still, but you have my full permission to break them if you want. That's part of the game. Here's how you can cheat. Like, cooking is not an exact art. Baking is, but cooking isn't. Sometimes you fudge your way through stuff, and that's just as valid, because it tastes just as good. That's my beautiful metaphor. So let's go to the end state of this game. Let's finish the game. So, let's pretend we have successfully made 3 recipes. We are able to recall enough to remember our wish. After all, you wrote the cookbook down for a reason. Choose from the following wish seems to determine why you're still haunting the book and how you have been freed. And if none of them speak to you, don't worry, you can make up one of your own. So, I want to be seen as I really am. I think we've had a lot of themes of seeing and being seen. And I think I think about what it is to have to live without someone to look at me, to acknowledge my existence, to prove that I'm real. And to think about the way that I died alone, without the woman I loved, without the love of a son, or the fun of a daughter-in-law, with a husband I never really liked. I wanted to be seen as I really am. And I think to Lucy and Imelda, who looked at each other and stripped bare the falseness of family, who looked at each other and saw beyond labels like aunt and niece, and saw people who were trying their best when sometimes their best was still awful, but that was all they could do. And I feel like I wrote these for a reason. And I, through their gaze, feel seen. And I close my eyes, and when I open them again, I see myself as I am. Older, tired looking, rigid posture. And she looks at me expectantly. And I look at her expectantly, and then she bursts into this beautiful smile. And her teeth are crooked, and her eyes wrinkle too much. But it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And as I fade away, I hear the voice of my love calling to me. And I fade to join her, finally smiling, finally seeing. And that is the end of My Mother's Kitchen. We have been freed from the book. Although, if we did a New Game Plus, because we had failed all of them, this would be a different ending. Because, honestly, there's never an ending to stuff. Stories are things we place on events to make them make sense. So you never have to actually lose this game. You can always start again. Always. You can always try again and stay the same character. You never, ever, ever have to fail. So, thank you all so much for joining me. We have 11 people. That's a lot. No problem. Thank you for joining. I hope you consider sharing out this Zine Month fundraising expedition. We go live on the 1st of February. Please, everybody, subscribe. If you are interested in trying this game yourself, there is a smaller, more reduced version of it that I have put up on itch that you can play and enjoy. You can also find all of my other games there that are a little stranger. This one's more from the heart. But please, everyone, can one recipe book be reused or brought into another game? Like, yes. So, the recipe books look like this. They are pieces of the book, especially the physical book or the printed PDF or sticky note that you can cut out and use. You can make your own. You have a ton of options, so there's a lot of reusability. So you can reuse these recipes by using sticky notes. You can absolutely do like another part of the family tree and just restart and keep so this is my family tree that I made. There's a family tree section in the book and you can literally just save space, draw a line, and do another branch of the family and interweave it. That is very possible. You can build an entire dynasty, honestly. So yeah, that is definitely something you could do. Yeah, it's got a lot of replay value, which was my big worry about a game like this. Is like, how much are people going to actually want to replay this? But I think, like, if you do it over and over and over again, and it's, like, different family sets every time, because families are huge, maybe it's like two families fell out of touch. And as they, like, diverged in paths, they came back together when it mattered. Hey, you missed it! I just finished showing the world My Mother's Kitchen. It was 7 to 8 to 9, 2 hours. I said 2 to 3 hours on there. And if I was writing, it would be even faster. But my throat hurts, so I'm not going to keep going. I love this game. This game means a lot to me. Thank you all so much for coming when you did. Oh, no! Cam, thank God there's a VOD. There's a VOD, baby. But I literally can't talk anymore, else I'll be like, yeah, let's go. Brent, that's what you have to look at. I might add a few things and send you the new version, but this is my game. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I think we should raid in somewhere. I feel like this would be, I don't want this beautiful energy to fizzle away. That's my friend Cam. Cam's the one who got me into writing games, to be honest. Cam is a very excellent game writer in his own right. You should check out his shit. But I'm gonna see who's on. I bet it's a ton of people. Today's Wednesday, right? You're my dad. You're my TTRP dad. TTRP grandpa. Yeah, at the beginning of COVID, I paid Cam to play D&D. Now I don't. Now it's free. The power of friendship! Why don't we all go? Who needs it? Who needs it? I'm looking at... Oh, I don't want to send a Dungeons & Dragons stream. That feels like a step back! I could just drop you into a kittens chat. I always follow a live stream of kittens playing. It's all Dungeons & Dragons tonight. I don't want to drop you guys into Dungeons & Dragons. There's Cyberpunk Red and Alien. Oh, bring on the kittens. It's got like 65 people. Those kittens don't need more attention. I always love, please don't leave, because I always love diving in to people who are a little low on views and could use a little. Most of these are all white. Oh my god. I'm trying! Cyberpunk Red's not wholesome! I feel so bad. It's all fucking... You know what? Spontaneum is actually very wholesome and very fun. They're on a break right now. They're gonna be right back, but I think... Yeah, it's a weekly TTRPG show where neither... Lost Caravan, not right now, because I think... They also have a bunch of people. They're gonna start soon. But I'll be real, y'all. I want to drop into Spontaneum. Spontaneum is... I actually just want to introduce you to the concept. It's a weekly TTRPG show where nobody knows what game is going to be played until they start playing, and I think that's pretty sweet. So we're gonna dive right into this beautiful little raidy boy, and I'm going to raid into Spontaneum because I love them, and I think that it's a really cool show idea, and I think you all will really like it. I just think it's cool content. Spontaneum. The Spontaneum show. Thank you all so much again. I really appreciate you all dropping into... That's not valid? Ugh, you're not valid. Thank you. I had a great time. I love this game. Everybody say I love you to somebody close to you. Truly. Do it for Steph Crayons. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye! Let's all raid! Raid. Oh, I think Amber's in this one too. We're raiding right now.